So apparently there is another life simulation game coming out. Yes, another one. This one is called Vivaland. It looks the same as a lot of the other life sim games that are up and coming. They've showed off a build mode in this recent trailer, and they've showed off a map screen. Apparently it's going to be a multiplayer life simulation game, and they've shown off some people talking, but we don't really know anything about it other than it seems like it's going to be a multiplayer life simulation game. You can see in the bottom left they have like needs and how they have all these different kind of things. They've shown off a lot of the build mode, and it seems to be very, very customizable in terms of what you can do. This seems to be a very, very early on trailer, so it's not even in beta, do you know what I mean? Like, it's still very early in development, but it basically looks like another Sims because we've got so many of them coming out soon, like literally so many. I don't really know what to think of it because apparently it's being made by an indie developer who's, I believe they may be publicly funding it, like crowdfunding the game, which is fine. I just don't really know what it's about so far. There seems to be, like, whenever these life sim games show off their upcoming trailers and things, they always show off the build modes first. I guess the build mode comes first and gameplay comes later. But like, we're seeing a lot of simulation already, but it's difficult to know if this is just like a rendered video, like not actually gameplay. Do you know what I mean? I feel like, shouldn't there have to be a disclaimer whether it's like real game footage or just like made up? I feel like most video game developers do a disclaimer, but we don't actually know. It seems to be set in a seaside town, basically The Sims 3. I feel like isn't Paralives going to be in like a seaside town, and so is Life by You? What is it with these like harbour beach seaside towns that they love? So it is already on Steam. The release date is supposed to be next year, which is actually quite soon. Seeing, I'm pretty sure they first announced it like last year or something. Also, it seems that coming soon. Oh my god, I think an insect just bit my arm. Oh my god, that was weird. Oh no, it's the label from my t-shirt. Forgot to take it off. Oops. Yes, I am wearing a very gay LGBT slay top. I know, you'll get over it. Apparently they're releasing something called Viva Dream House, which is basically the build mode, which is going to be released separately. I assume it's kind of like some demo or something. Now, the game is being published by Hype Train Digital, who seem to do a lot of games. They mostly look like indie games. It doesn't really seem like simulation is in their roster. The initial Vivaland like opening teaser was this, and it's basically like a play on the Sims 4 thing of like drowning Sims in a pool and having it being funny. I thought it was a little bit weird when it first came out that they've taken like an iconic Sims joke and they've basically like added it to their trailer of removing the ladder, and you know, then they drown. It's like, it just feels like copycat of The Sims, I will be totally honest with you. They also have this from roughly a year ago, which is apparently players actually building in it. Guys, I know I sound really skeptical. It's really difficult to know if it's real. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's real. Wasn't there, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 years ago, wasn't there something called like The People of Newbury, which was like some upcoming life simulation game, and it turned out to be a scam where they were just taking people's money from crowdfunding? I feel like it does happen on the odd occasion where people will pretend to make games and they get crowdfunded, but then the game doesn't actually end up being developed. And these developers basically make money from crowdfunded projects which never actually complete, and then once people catch on to it, they kind of like change their name and move on to a different game. Like, we're seeing a lot, but we're not seeing that much at the same time. Like, at the very least with Paralives, they intentionally have not played up live mode, and they haven't intentionally been like, yeah, you can do all these. Like, they've been very, very slow with it. For example, with Paralives, they showed off a lot of their Paramaker mode, and it seems like they really got it down and they defined it in incredible detail right from the offset. They also showed us a lot of build mode, again in incredible detail from the offset. And then even just for live mode, we've only really seen some basic animations for it so far. They haven't actually showed us a proper live mode, and more importantly, they haven't pretended a live mode exists. They've made it very clear that it's something that they're still, I guess, messing around with, and it just seems like a much more systematic and honest honest way to go about development of a game. They're not artificially making it look like the process has been sped up. I have like a little feeling that they may be doing that with this game, but I'm not too sure. It seems like they are hiring for a variety of roles on the game. They do have a Patreon from £3 to £8 a month. Oh, what's that I see here? Nothing to see here. I don't know why I put my hand up to the camera, like you could still see it. According to the FAQ, development started in January 2022. See, how is it going to be released in 2024? Is it like 2 years? Is that it? I just feel like 2 years is a bit over ambitious. I am very skeptical of that, especially when there's Patreon members involved. It is set to be only early access in 2024, but like I just don't know. Apparently, some of the team members who've worked on Vivaland also worked on the Sims 4 multiplayer mod, which I know is very popular. It seems that the game is set to be in a town where you can have a maximum of 8 residents, and they are all played by real people, meaning that it's going to be like an MMO. But apparently you can play single player without any other people, without an internet connection. So I'm assuming that each player chooses a house that they can live in, and then you all live in the same neighborhood together. But apparently there's also going to be no NPCs. I'm not too sure how it would work. Like, what if you don't have any friends, so you have to join with randos and they end up trolling you, you have to kick them out, and then like a new person comes in? Like, I don't know how a multiplayer element would work in such a small world of only 8 people with no NPC townies. I don't know if it'd be quite lonely or a little bit like too close for comfort. I don't know how they're going to control moderation and things, if it's going to be a life sim where you can do romantic things, or you could like kill them. Like, it could get a bit inappropriate in multiplayer. I will be honest, I definitely think we need to know a lot more about the reality of the game before I personally take it seriously. What I mean by the reality is actually seeing proper gameplay, not like rendered images, rendered pictures, if you know what I mean. As I said, we literally don't know if this is made up in some game engine, but like it doesn't actually include real gameplay. It could just be made to get people excited, which I understand. But like, if I do look at Paralives, they got people excited whilst keeping it real. I mean, the fact that it's being published by a proper developer which has 40,000 followers, it gives me reassurance that like it is legit. Because what was it, People in Newbury or something, like people were criticizing it on YouTube, and the person who was making this scammy game was actually like copyright striking all these creators, trying to suppress the fact that it was a scam. Like, it was absolutely horrendous. I haven't really seen that many Sims creators, actually I haven't seen any Sims creators talk about this game, but as I said, the publisher has a lot of games and most of them seem to be at least very positive on Steam. So I'm just gonna go into Vivaland assuming that it is real. I'm not too sure how it would work as an online game, but I'm excited to see what happens in the future. But I will be honest, I'm very skeptical about developing an entire game in 2 years and getting it ready for early access release. So we'll just have to see how it develops. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.